Every morning she sat at the same table, in the same chair, with the same quiet ritual. A bowl of warm rice, a spoon, a peaceful smile. And as she took her first bite, she did something unusual. She started counting. 1, 2, 3. Her family thought it was quirky at first, a harmless old habit. But what they didn't realize was that this simple act, counting every chew, was protecting her brain in ways science is only beginning to understand. She was 88, no signs of dementia, no memory loss, no confusion, no disorientation, no forgetfulness. In fact, her mind was clearer than most people decades younger. She remembered birthdays, recipes, and phone numbers. She solved crossword puzzles without a pencil. She held conversations with precision and warmth. And when asked her secret, she always gave the same answer. I count my chews. I always have. The habit began when she was a young mother in her 30s. She read a book about digestion that suggested chewing each bite at least 30 times, but she went further. She decided to chew every bite exactly 33 times. Not 30, not 32, not 34, always 33. She said the number felt just right. Not too much, not too little. So she made it a rule. At every meal, she would focus solely on chewing and counting. No TV, no talking, no distractions. It was her meditation, her exercise, her game, her gift to her brain. And over the years, this simple ritual became her most powerful form of protection. The science of chewing and brain health. We tend to think of chewing as a mechanical task, something we do automatically without thought. But neurologists now understand that chewing is an incredibly complex neural process, engaging multiple regions of the brain simultaneously. The motor cortex controls jaw movement. The sensory cortex processes texture and temperature. The prefrontal cortex monitors coordination and timing. See, the hippocampus becomes active when memory is associated with eating. And when counting is added, the parietal lobe joins the task to track numeracy. In essence, when this woman chewed and counted, her brain lit up like a symphony. And she did this 3 times a day, every day, for over 50 years. That's tens of millions of chews, and just as many neural activations. But it gets even more interesting. Studies in Japan and South Korea, where chewing-focused diets are more common, show that increased mastication, chewing, is linked to better memory retention, higher levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, improved blood flow to the brain, lower risk of cognitive decline. In fact, research published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience confirmed that chewing stimulates the hippocampus, the very part of the brain most affected in early dementia and Alzheimer's. For this woman, her seemingly simple habit was actually a form of daily neurotherapy. And the counting? That turned it into dual-task processing, a cognitive workout proven to build brain resilience. Most people ignore the power of routine. They think it's boring, predictable, rigid. But for this woman, her routine was sacred and neurologically profound. Her morning meal, her evening tea, her midday soup, all were taken with full attention and rhythmic counting. She didn't do this to be healthy. She did it to feel present. She once said, "When I chew and count, I can't think about yesterday or tomorrow. I'm just here, alive, grateful, and calm." And that, scientists say, may be the very state that protects the brain best. Focused, engaged, peaceful, predictable. In psychology, this is called flow state, where brain waves slow down, cortisol drops, and neuroplasticity increases. She entered flow at every meal. No apps, no devices, no brain training subscriptions. Just 33 chews, over and over, anchoring her in now. At 88, during a routine health exam, her doctor suggested a full cognitive assessment, not because she showed signs of dementia, but because she didn't. After a battery of tests, MRIs, and comparative scoring, the results were extraordinary. Working memory, equal to someone in their 50s. Verbal fluency, top 10% of her age group. Cortisol, exceptionally low. Sleep quality, deep and consistent. Blood pressure, stable without medication. Neuroinflammation, nearly undetectable. The neurologist reviewing her case wrote a single line in the notes. Anomalous cognitive preservation. Patient reports daily chewing counting ritual. What seemed odd to others had become a medical marvel. Her family asked her, "Do you really think counting your chews made this happen?" She smiled and replied, "Well, it certainly didn't hurt." In a world full of brain supplements, memory games, blue light filters, and neurotech devices, this woman used mindful chewing to build a fortress around her brain. Here's why it worked. 1. Neural repetition. Every chew activated multiple brain regions, strengthening pathways daily. 2. Deep presence. Counting required sustained attention, reducing mental noise. 3. Cerebral blood flow. Chewing increases oxygenated blood to key regions like the hippocampus and frontal lobe. 4. Stress reduction. Predictable rituals lower cortisol, which is toxic to brain tissue over time. 5. Neuroplasticity. The act of dual tasking, chewing plus counting, promoted ongoing adaptability in neural networks. And perhaps most importantly, 6. She believed in it. Belief alone can activate the brain's reward system and reduce fear, both known to preserve cognitive function. This wasn't superstition. It was self-guided science, years ahead of its time. What she teaches us about aging differently at 88. She wasn't famous. She didn't write books or teach seminars. But in her quiet way, she embodied the most powerful lesson of all. It's not always the big changes that protect your mind. It's the small, consistent choices, made with intention, over time. She didn't fear dementia. She respected the brain. She gave it rhythm, stillness, repetition, focus. She didn't chase youth. She nourished function. And that made all the difference. Her message to the next generation. When asked what advice she would give to younger people, she said, "Don't eat while scrolling. Don't talk while chewing. Don't rush your food. Let your mind and body meet at the table. And if you want to stay sharp, count." It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present, meal after meal, year after year. And so at 88, with no signs of cognitive decline, she continued to live in her own rhythm, one bite at a time, one number at a time, one moment at a time. And her brain, like her smile, never faded. Her story is a reminder. You don't need complex tools to protect your mind. Sometimes all it takes is a spoon, a quiet room, and a simple number. If her story resonated with you, please like this video. It helps others discover timeless wisdom like this. And don't forget to subscribe to Human Health Hub for more human stories that blend science, emotion, and lasting health. Your brain remembers how you live, so live intentionally, even while you chew.